Hey, and welcome to our 4-part series on Ember actions. In this first part, we'll be doing just an introduction, the basics of working with actions. Then we'll show how actions bubble up from the controller to the routes above that. Then we'll be talking about actions and components and how they can work together. And finally, we'll be talking about closure actions, which were introduced in 1.13. Let's get started. Our example in this series will be following the startup hat.io. Which solves a very common problem, that your hair is naked. So you go to their website and you put on a hat. But when you click this button, nothing happens. That's because we haven't attached an action yet. So in our template, let's go to the button tag and give it an action. We'll name that action Put On Hat. Then, when we try to click this, still nothing happens. That's because nothing has handled that action, as we can see in this error. We'll fix this in the controller. First, we'll make an actions hash. That's where we'll store all the actions. And then we'll use the put on hat. We'll create that method. And then we'll take an action. In this case, we'll set the hasHat variable to true. We'll want to show the user that they've set their hat to true. So in the template, we'll have an if statement. If hasHat is true, we'll say sweet hat bro. Otherwise, we'll be encouraging them to put on a hat. Now we see it in action and it works. But sometimes, even with the most awesome service, people want to unsubscribe, so we need to give them a way to take off the hat. Luckily, the solution is easy. Just use another action. So we'll put the take off hat action in a button, then add the take off hat action to our actions hash and have it set hasHat to false. So now users can subscribe and unsubscribe. Perfect startup. But then the startup wants to expand a little bit and have different colored hats. We'll set the default color as blue in the hat color variable, and then we'll use hat color to tell the user what color of hat they've selected, as well as styling it. This is what it looks like. Now let's use params to have the user select which type of hat they want to wear. We'll have them select from several different colors. And then in the template, we'll loop through those colors and pass that color as a parameter to the action. Then in the put on hat action, we'll take that color as a parameter and set hat color to that color. Here's this working in the app. It passes in the parameter and sets it to that color. So with the new hat colors and the decrease of the word bro on their site, sales have skyrocketed. Hat.io is doing really well. But the investors are getting restless still. They want more money, so they're going to introduce zero-click purchases, a one-up on Amazon's one-click purchases. What they're going to do is, anytime you roll your mouse over one of these, it purchases it for you. This is done by taking advantage of the mouse over event. So we do on equals mouse enter. And then whenever the mouse enters this button that the action is set on, it's going to fire the action. So the user is moving their mouse around the page, they accidentally enter the orange button, and it automatically puts on the orange hat. Sales are skyrocketing. Of course, there are a lot of other, more ethical ways to use the on equals in an action. For example, on the mouse enter, you can keep on using that, but use it to play a sound or highlight something instead of using it to purchase a hat. And there are several other browser events you can use there. And I go over browser events more in episode 50. So let's review what we've learned today. You can use the action helper within an HTML tag to call a method on the actions hash. And that will do that action by default when you're clicking. But if you do an on equals, you can do something like mouse enter. You can also pass in parameters, like color, and then that action will take those parameters. So those are the basics. If you want to learn more, in the coming episode, we'll learn about action bubbling, how you can send it to more than just the controller. And then we'll learn about how to declare actions and components and pass them between. Finally, we'll learn about closure actions. 73 and 75 will be pro episodes, but a pro subscription is less than the cost of a hat. I hope to see you then.